Shalom. We're continuing Sefer melachim Beis. We're up to Perek Yud Aleph, and we had just concluded that Yehu had become king. He ruled for 28 years, and he eradicated all of the family of Achav, including Yehoram ben Achav, Melech Yisrael, and Achazyahu ben Yehoram, whose mother was Asalia, which is Achav's daughter, the daughter of Izebel, and therefore Achazyahu was also killed as part of Achav's family, although he was the Melech of Yehuda. Now, Achazyahu's mother, now we're shifting over to Malchus Yehuda. Asalyahu, or Asalia, was, again, Achav's daughter. Her mother was Izebel, and she really followed both of her parents. She was a Rashas. So here we are told, the Asalia aim Achazyahu. Asalia, Achav's daughter, was the mother of Achazyahu, who was killed by Yehu. Rasa kimespena, when she saw or she heard that her son died, Vatakam vata'abed eis kol zera hamamlacha. So she did a very strange thing. Only a Russia would do such a thing. She wanted to kind of become king herself. The only instance in Tanakh of the woman becoming a queen, or becoming the ruling king. And as a result, she eradicated what she thought was every single survivor of Malchus Beis David. I'm assuming that even means her other children as well. She was ma'abed, kol zera hamamlacha, so there would mamish be not a single survivor of Malchus Beis David, so she would become queen, and afterwards she could turn it over to the Malchus Yisrael, the 10 tribes. Vatikach Yehosheva bas melech Yerim, achos Achazyahu. But Achazyahu had a sister who was this daughter of Yehoram. This is Yoram ben Yehoshaphat. So unless it's from a different mother, this seems to be Asalia's own daughter. But she was a sister, at least from the same father. She took one little boy. Achazia had a little boy whose name was Yoash. Vatignovoso. And she kidnapped him. Mitoch b'nei melech hamumasa, meaning all of the king's sons were lined up to be executed. And she managed to sneak Yoash out of the room. V'yesmenikto, he was just a little child, so she was able to steal him and his nurse. V'chadar hamito, she hid them in a bedroom. V'yastiru osam v'yasalyahu v'lohuma. So apparently Asalyahu was not keeping count. All the people were there to be executed, and when one kid was taken away, she didn't notice. Vayehi ita Beis Hashem mischabe sheishanim. So this is very remarkable. Little Yehoash was hidden in the Beis HaMikdash for 6 years. Now remember, we're talking about Malchus Yehuda. So for 6 years, his very existence was only known by a very small group of people. And for those 6 years, Asalia, Meileches al Aretz, Asalia was the queen. Ubashana Hashviyit, and in the 7th year, Shalach Yehoyada. Yehoyada was the Kohen Gadol. Vayikach Esarei Hameyas Lakari V'Laratzim. He took the generals, those who were in charge of groups of 100. These were the noble people and those who were involved in war. V'yavei osam elav Beis Hashem. He calls them to a secret meeting in the Beis HaMikdash. V'yichreis lahem bris. He makes a covenant with them in which they agree to keep the secret. Vayashvaisam bebeis Hashem. He makes them swear in the name of God that whatever he will tell them or reveal to them, they will not reveal to Asalyahu. And when they agreed and they took that Shavua, Vayar Eisam es ben HaMelech. He brings out from hiding the boy Yoash, who is now 6 years older than he was. Now you have to understand how exciting this is, because everyone thought Malchus Beis David had been nichras legamri, and now all of a sudden they see that there's a survivor. Vayitzavem leimar. And Yehoyada HaKayin commands them, Zeh hadavor asher tason. This is what you must do. We have to, essentially he wants to overthrow Asalia. But Asalia, of course, has her own supporters. Hashlishis mikem boi Shabbos, v'shomrei mishmeres Beis HaMelech. So again, let me explain what's going on here. We know that the Kohanim were divided into 24 mishmeres. And a mishmor did the avodah in the Beis HaMikdash for 1 week. And on Shabbos, in the middle of the afternoon, a new mishmor came. So there's what's called a mishmor hayotze. The old mishmor is leaving. And there's a mishmor hanichnas. A new mishmor is coming. So essentially, what Yehoyada is saying is that the Kohanim are going to have the responsibility for protecting Yairam on this coming Shabbos. And the first group he's addressing are called the Bo'ei Shabbos, the new Mishmor that is coming in for Shabbos. So, a third of you, so he's dividing the Bo'ei Shabbos into 3 groups, and each third will be given a certain mission. And after we describe the mission of the Bo'ei Shabbos, we will then describe the mission of the Yotzei Shabbos. So, Zeh hadavor asher tasun. Hashlishis mikem Bo'ei Shabbos v'shomrim Yisrael Beis HaMelech. A third of you, the new Mishmor that is coming in on Shabbos, should remain in the Beis HaMikdash. So as Yoash is coming out of hiding, you're in the Beis HaMikdash, or in the Azorah technically, to protect him. V'hashlishes, and the second third of the Bo'ei Shabbos, Bishar Sur. This is a gate outside of the Beis HaMikdash as he's entering the city. So a third of the Kohanim of the new Mishmor should protect him in the Mikdash. And another third will protect him when he leaves the Mikdash and he's in the gate entering the city. This is Yerushalayim. Vashlishes b'shar achar haratzim. And yet a third will protect him when he goes through the gate until he reaches the guards that I've sworn to allegiance. Ushmartem es mishmeres abayes masach. And you must protect this bias, meaning Yoash, in the bias, misach, without any hesach hadas, without getting distracted in any way. So that is the job that will be done by the Bo'ei Shabbos. Now, ushtei hayadais bachem kol yotzei Shabbos. But the truth of the matter is that 2/3 of the whole, meaning the following, basically what it's saying is that the Yotzei Shabbos, the old Mishmar, will have double the number of people than the new Mishmar. Because the new Mishmar has to do Avodah, so Memela, only 1/3 of the total group of guards are going to be from the new Mishmar, and they're divided into 3. 2/3 of the total on this protective mission will be from the Yotzei Shabbos, those that are leaving the old Mishmar. V'shomru es mishmeres Beis HaMelech, and their job will be in the Mikdash once again to protect Yoash when he's being taken out. V'ikaftem ala melech saviv ish v'keleb b'yadai, and you shall surround this king with weapons. V'aba el asterot, if any outsider tries to penetrate, yumas, he shall be killed. V'yu es hamelech b'tzeiso b'bo, and when the king is coming out, right, for the first time, you must be there to protect him. And the pasuk says, "Vayasu sarei hameyos kechol asher tziva Yehoyada hakayin." They did everything Yehoyada commanded. Vayikchu ish es hanashav boy Shabbos and Yotzi Shabbos, and the Kohanim, both the boy Shabbos, the new Mishmar, and the old Mishmar. Vayavayu el Yehoyada hakayin. They reported for duty to Yehoyada hakayin. Vayitein hakayin, and Yehoyada the kayin gave to the Sarei Hameyos, to the generals, chanis, spears, es hashlatim, and shields, asher lemelech David asher bebeis Hashem. You might remember that David HaMelech had commissioned special, powerful shields that were kept in the Beis HaMikdash itself. And Yehoyada HaKayin is now giving these shields, as well as the spears, to the Sarei Hameyos. Vayamdu haratzim ish v'kelev biyadai. And the guards are standing with their weapons. Mikesef habayis hayamanis ad kesef habayis hasmalis, all across the width of the Mikdash. Nobody can penetrate. When I say Mikdash, I mean really the Azara, the courtyard. La Mizbeach, where the Mizbeach is, this is the outer Mizbeach of the Korbanos. V'labayas ala Melech Saviv, and they are surrounding the Melech. So, Vayaytse es Ben HaMelech. They finally take the Ben HaMelech, the son of Achazyahu. Vayitein olav es hanezer. They put a crown on his head. V'yes ha'edus. They give him the Sefer Torah that a Melech is supposed to have, because a Melech must always carry a Sefer Torah, a small Sefer Torah. V'yamlichu oso, he was proclaimed to be king. V'yimshechuhu, and they anointed him with shemen. V'yaku kaf, and they clapped their hands. V'yimru, and they said, Yechi HaMelech. Again, I want to emphasize how joyous this was, that there was a survivor of Malchus Beis David. Vatishma Asalia es Kaila Ratzim Ba'am. Asalia, who thought she killed every possible competitor, hears the sound that's going on. Vatavi Alam Beis Hashem, and she comes to the Beis HaMikdash. What's going on? Vatera, and she sees, Hine HaMelech Omed Al, this little kid is now a Melech. He is standing on a pillar because he's so short. Kamishpat, Vasarim B'Chatzotros El HaMelech, and you have Sarim, you have princes, Chatzotros, you have trumpets. V'chol Am Haaretz Sameach, and everybody's rejoicing. It's a coronation. V'Taikeya B'Chatzotres. Vatikra Asalyas Bagada, she ripped her garments in fury. See, it doesn't say she ripped her garments when her children were killed, but she rips her garments now when she's going to lose the Malchus. Vatikra, and she said, Kesher, Kesher, this is a rebellion. Put it down. Vayitzav Yehoyada HaKayin Asarei Hameyos B'Gudei Achayil. He commanded his generals, Vayomer Aleim, and he said to them, Hotziu Isa El Mi Beis Lasteros, take her out of this assembly. V'abo achareh hameis b'charv, and anyone that goes with her as support, kill them right away. Meaning we're going to kill her, and anyone that tries to protect her, kill them as well. Ki Amar HaKayin Al Tumas Beis Hashem. The Kohen said, we don't want her to be killed in the Mikdash or in the Azara. Take her out and kill her there. V'yasimu la Yadayim. So they designated, so Yadayim here means they designated a Makaim to take her. Vatavai derech mavai asusim beis hamelech. She was led down the road, the pathway, the horse road, leading from the king's palace. Vatumas sham. And Asalia was killed, and Yayash became the Melech. So the 6 years of Asalia's reign was the only time in the entire period of the Malachim, Malcha Yehuda, that you had a break in the sequence of Ben Achar Ben for Malchus Beis David. Vayichreis Yehoyada es habris bein Hashem bein HaMelech ubein ha'am lios liyam l'Hashem ubein HaMelech ubein ha'am. Yehoyada made a formal covenant, a formal treaty, so to speak, in which Am Yisrael, I'm sorry, not Am Yisrael, it's really Malchus, it's Shevet Yehuda and Binyamin, the southern kingdom, Malchus Yehuda, kind of made a bris to follow the way of Hashem and to be loyal to the king. So there's a bris between the Melech and Hashem, between the Am and Hashem, between the Am and the Melech, and between the Melech and the Am. Vayavayu kol am ha'aretz beis habal. So the same way Yehu destroyed the Avodah Zarah in the northern kingdom, under the leadership of Yehoyada HaKayin, who coronated Yayash, they destroyed the Baal in the southern kingdom. They went into the kingdom of the Baal, the palace of the Baal. Vayitzuhu, they destroyed it. They destroyed the Mizbeach of the Baal, Salama, the idols, Shibru, Etev. V'es Matan, Kain, Abal, Harglifnei, Mizbachais. Matan, who was the name of the Kohen of the Baal, they killed in front of his altar. V'yasem HaKain, Bekudas, Al Beis Hashem. And Yehoyada also made an honor guard to honor the Beis HaMikdash. Halachically, that is the case, but that had lapsed during the reign of Achazio. And Yehoyada HaKayin reinstitutes the Shomrim of the Mikdash. He then took all of the soldiers, his generals, as well as all of the people. They take him from the Beis HaMikdash, from the Azara. They take him through the gates of the emissaries towards the king's palace. Again, this is a gate that leads to the king's palace. Vayeshev al kisei hamelachim, and he finally takes the throne of the king. Vayismach kol am haaretz, and everyone is rejoicing. Vayir shakata, and Yerushalayim is now tranquil and peaceful. And the reason is es asal yahu heimisu b'charev beis hamelech, because Asalyahu was killed by the sword near the palace of the king. So this was the 6-year reign of terror of Asalyahu, and now under the spiritual leadership of Yehoyada HaKayin, Yayash is prepared to become the Melech of Yehuda.